If you asked me 8 years ago if Rocksteady would ever be in the current predicament they are right now, I probably would have laughed at that statement, brushed it off, and said never. Never would Rocksteady ever be down in the dumps the way they actually are. At the time I am recording this, there have been so many rumors that have come out about what is going on with Rocksteady behind the scenes, and of course this is a situation of take it with a grain of salt, but there are so many people talking about it, and so many of those people taking these rumors as a fact. It's because we can all realize that Rocksteady is a shell. It is a carcass of what Rocksteady used to be. There's a couple of points that I do want to talk about from this article that I'm about to read, and where we could possibly be in this situation moving forward with not just Rocksteady, but Warner Brother DC Gaming moving forward. So the rumor I heard that has been spreading across all social media platforms over the past 24 hours. Warner Brothers is either A, planning on shutting down Rocksteady entirely, or B, laying off and or firing half of Rocksteady's employees to save on some money after the disaster they had in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So as we have known for many months, if not maybe even a year or two now, Jamie Walker and Sefton Hill, who were the co-founders of Rocksteady, have departed and created a new studio called 100 Star Studios, in which they are working on a brand new single-player Xbox game, which will be an action adventure. And I would just like to mention that as I am editing this, the above paragraph does say that nobody in Rocksteady has that love for the Arkham series anymore. And, well, excuse my French, but no shit. They wouldn't have made a game like this Suicide Squad game envisioned with the particular story in which all of them die if they truly cared about its future. Now, at the end of the day, we all look at someone like Sefton Hill and almost praise him for the creation of the Batman Arkham games. Without some of his ideas and leadership, I don't know if those games are truly as good as they currently are, or if that game is even possibly made. Then there's been some conflicting reports that apparently Sefton Hill was on board with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. He liked the idea that this was a live service game. He also had some really other strange ideas he wanted to do with the game that didn't actually get implemented. Apparently he wanted to add the customization that you can do with your characters and weapons in-game and bring it to another level with vehicles. So now Suicide Squad would have a vehicle element like Batman Arkham Knight, which I know a lot of people kind of got irritated about, even though it never happened. I don't see what the problem in that would have been. If you're already going this far to make a game like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, throw in vehicles while you're at it too. It could not get any worse than what the game ended up being. While Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was indeed a big blow for Warner Brothers, resulting in a mammoth loss of $200 million, according to Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav, the decision to shut down the studio completely would probably be a bit too rash. Really? A bit too rash? Here's my thoughts on this. First of all, take that number into account that a AAA game following the continuation of some of the most successful video games of all time in the Arkham series bombed by losing $200 million. I even read another metric a couple weeks ago that it might have been $250 million. I mean, at this point, when you lose money, what's an extra $50 million on top of that? How did you lose that money? Well, you lost that money by making a game nobody asked for, by making it a live service, by adding in microtransactions, by ruining the story. I swear to God, every time Sweet Baby Inc. is involved in a game, they result in that game's complete utter failure. I don't understand why people keep going to them. And when you look at the production of Rocksteady, they have not released a game since Batman Arkham Knight. I think they released one VR Batman Arkham game that if you don't have a VR, you're never touching that game, and some people aren't even interested in VR. And then this other Batman VR Arkham game that they're currently coming out with with, that's not even by Rocksteady. That's by some company called Camouflage. So besides Suicide Squad, what has Rocksteady actually done to justify keeping their doors open? Also, we're dealing with a CEO in David Zaslav. This is a guy who is trying to strip Warner Brothers and all of its assets down as much as possible to save any type of buck he can. If you make even one little mistake, if this game was maybe a net loss of $10,000, you can bet your ass he would still consider closing down Rocksteady. This is a guy who would likely close a studio or strip something from Warner Brothers even if it did make money. We are dealing with a loose cannon in David Zaslav. You can never really tell what he's going to do because of how quick to action he is, especially when it comes to money. I would not be surprised if closing Rocksteady is a very big and probably the most popular decision in his mind right now. The irony is that the publisher's most successful video game ever is Hogwarts Legacy, a purely single-player action-adventure, so perhaps Warner Brothers should reevaluate their priorities and greenlight projects that players actually want to see. We could scream all day that single-player story mode games is where it is at. It is what we want. We could even prove through our wallets, our hard-earned money, this is what I want to spend it on, but for some reason, brain-dead studios like Warner Brothers will think to themselves, oh, I think they still want a live service game.
Are you effing stupid?
Another example of how poorly Warner Brothers have handled their video game franchises lately is the Batman IP. The Arkham trilogy is one of the greatest action-adventure franchises ever made, but for some reason, Warner Brothers didn't follow up with a AAA game featuring the Dark Knight as the protagonist. Even the spin-off title Gotham Knights didn't sit well with the fans, who were pretty adamant they would rather play a Batman game than Warner Brother Montreal's co-op adventure. It is very true. Is this a Marty McFly situation?
Monday.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
For some reason, they can see games like God of War or Hogwarts Legacy absolutely killing sales, but they still think we want co-op, live service, microtransactionable games. And I don't even know if that is a word, but I just made it a word. But it makes no sense.
Are you effing stupid?
I don't know what they're going to do with the rest of their planned content for Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. There is no way it continues to come out. A, because they don't already want to funnel more money into a game that has already lost them upwards of $200 million. And B, because they literally have nobody playing the game currently. Back in March or April, they hit an all-time low of 1,000 players only after, 2 months of the game being out. Currently, right now, checking Steam charts, they only have 547 peak players. The average player is 225 players. I don't think I have ever seen a AAA game crash and burn so heavily like this before. By the time I edit this video, upload it, and you guys are watching this, those numbers could be lower. I know there's a lot of people who will sit here and say this is simply just a misfire by Rocksteady. They should have another chance. They should have another go. But how many misfires is a company like Rocksteady allowed to have? As I said, this is a company who, by the way, is known for their AAA titles, who has only released 2 games in about 10 years, and one of them is a multi-million-dollar loss. So what do we expect from Rocksteady from this point on? To have to wait another 6 to 8 years to see what their next game is going to be? A big chunk of the people who work at Rocksteady, who are known for making the games we love and cherish, they are not there anymore. Those people are not the same. Their mindsets and their capabilities are so much different from what we we have previously known. There is no guarantee that Rocksteady will ever be able to prove themselves and get people back on their side. They are caught in a really desperate situation here. The problem is that we love the Arkhamverse, where it was going, what it was doing, and the potential it held. It was stripped away from us in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and even if there is a future for the Arkhamverse there, many of us don't want to see it continue with that form of storytelling and gameplay. Now, the biggest question is, did Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League destroy the Arkhamverse so much that there is no way to revitalize it? Or is there a way to somewhat walk back this mistake and take it back into a new direction? I still think at the end of the day, one of the best possible situations to do here is to remaster, if not even in some ways tweak, and I don't want to say remake, but for a lack of a better term, a remaster remake of Batman Arkham Origins. Release that for next gen consoles. Get people who have been screaming for this remaster ever since the Return to Arkham remaster to purchase that game. You already know I would purchase that game if they remastered Arkham Origins. You get a vastly underrated Batman game that many people don't always appreciate or connect with because you have games like Asylum City and Night. You also get new gamers who never got to play Origins now playing Origins. What I would do from here is, once you have people back in somewhat good graces for remastering Origins, I think the next best bet here is you make an Origins 2. A Batman game that takes place before Arkham Asylum, but of course after the first Origins game. I think once they could prove their dedication to story mode games, making great stories in general, showing you that they're sticking with what they're good at, which is Batman, you could potentially, after that point, move into different DC characters. They could try making a Flash game, a Superman game, a Green Arrow game. They could even potentially try a Justice League game that is just, of course, modeled much different and better than Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I think that is truthfully the only way that the Arkhamverse can survive, and the only way that Rocksteady could keep its doors open, the only way it would be beneficial to everyone. Yeah, I know Arkham Origins is a byproduct of Rocksteady. It is a Warner Brothers Montreal game. But Rocksteady, if they want to hold on to this precious Arkhamverse, they could make Arkham Origins 2. They could go back to their roots and really showed us, hey, we did make that one misfire. Let's prove why we can stay open. But at the end of the day, who knows if that's going to happen? Zaslav is a wild card, and there's no guarantee we could ever get something even as simple as that. So guys, leave your comments below. Tell me what you think of this entire situation. Let me know if you think Rocksteady is going to close, if you think they're going to keep their doors open, and also tell me what you think the best plan would be moving forward. How should they continue the Arkhamverse? What should Rocksteady do next if they keep their doors open? But that is all I have for you on this one, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed, and until next time, I will talk to you all very soon.